Last few weeks I've been reading Judges, and Judges is a pretty miserable book, as I've said, full of abuse and murder, etc., etc. Said at the same time is these 3 chapters of the book of Ruth, a beautiful little interlude. And in this story, we see that Naomi and her husband head from Bethlehem, you've heard of that place, and they go to a foreign land where the people don't worship God. That's important. She has 2 sons and they get married to local women, so people who don't follow God. Then sadly her sons die and her husband has also died, and she decides the only thing she can do is head back to her homeland. Makes sense, she'd have support and family there who could care for her because she knows that there'll be nobody else to care for her. And so she says to her 2 daughters-in-law, basically, you don't need to come back with me. You're free to go back. I'm not going to have any more sons who can marry you again. And one of them, called Ruth, has one of the most beautiful sentences in the whole Bible. She says, "No, Naomi, where you go, I will go, and your God will now be my God." That's a beautiful picture of commitment. A few weeks ago or months ago, I talked about that word we don't have in English that sums up God's love for us. In the Old Testament, it is the word hesed. And Ruth, in that phrase, is summing up that kind of love perfectly. It's that commitment that we can make to people, love that doesn't depend on good circumstances. Actually, for Ruth, her hope of having a husband, hope of having a good life had all but disappeared, but she knows that the good way to love Naomi is to be committed to her, whatever may happen, that hesed love, and that's what she does. And the rest of the book, well, it gets better and better, really. It shows that committed love is what she's all about. Just a leap on to Acts as well, which we're also reading at the moment, and where Paul is facing all these difficulties again and again, being arrested, etc., etc., speaking to kings and getting in trouble. And I suppose he is also showing that same kind of committed love back to God. He's saying, whatever might happen, God, I am committed to you. That's the kind of commitment that we should show to God, but also, just like Ruth, we should show to each other. I wonder, who is it that God is calling you to show that hesed love, to be completely committed to? And maybe also God is calling you to show that hesed love back to him, to say, I am committed to you, my God.